Hello and welcome to yet another edition of the program by Government and I, where we x-ray issues that made it to the news, what kept the newsmen busy, kept newsroom very busy around the country and of course around the world. My name is Victor Itra. And today on the program I have a gentleman who's going to join us to discuss look at issues. We're touching so many issues because we're wrapping up the year. So of course, we'll touch on security issues, we'll touch on the economy, we'll touch on legal issues, and any other issue that may come up. So I have my friend, and as well as a regular who follows me everywhere I go. His name is Oluwa Todimu Ige. He's a legal practitioner and as well as a public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining me again. This is like your third time you've come on the program.
Yes, thank you for having me, and it's always a pleasure being here.
It's always a great time having you join us, however. And from base, we thank you for making us your base for news, politics, and entertainment.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Enjoy.
Okay. So today, we're looking at a lot of issues happen in the genocide narrative from America. And as well as many said that fueled insecurity across the country. Some girls were kidnapped, 25 of them, from school. When some people say, they were Christian girls. And everyone went into America. People say, well, Christian, we told about genocide in Nigeria. And someone just came out to say, no, these are all Muslims. That was a Muslim school. All the people kidnapped were all Muslims. People were all Muslims. And of course, you see the church attack and 38 people, adopted. And then, of course, there's that news that they are free. Now, let's have your reaction. The state of the nation. Where do you think Nigeria as a nation, where do we stand?
Well, it's quite unfortunate, the pockets of
Yes.
banditry,
Yes.
kidnapping, and of course, abduction of innocent Nigerians. So the truth is, regardless of their tribe, their tradition,
Yes.
their religion,
Yes.
the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria protects lives and property.
Yes.
It's inherent. It cannot be
It's
taken.
sacrosanct.
It's sacrosanct. As a matter
Yes.
of fact, I can't take my life
Mm.
because the Constitution says that I have a right to life.
Mm.
And you see that when people want to kill themselves,
Yes.
they are charged for it, attempted suicide.
Mm.
Now, having said that, it is important that the government of the day rises up to the occasion and ensure that lives are protected. This is not the time to play politics with the life of human beings. We are talking about people here. And you say that, they are Christians, they are Muslims. That is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. What is most important is that the sanctity of the state Nigeria is important.
Yeah.
Lives of property, security of lives and property, important. You can't be in a place of worship and at the same time looking over your shoulders because somebody somewhere is going to come in and kidnap you or abduct you for ransom. I think that it is highly uncalled for, and the nation needs to sit up.
So you rather prefer that America had said, okay, we're going to fight insecurity in Nigeria, not that we're coming under the disguise of alleged Christian genocide. It should be a partnership to fight insecurity in Nigeria. It shouldn't be Christian. It shouldn't be given a religious coloration.
Well, what happened in the instance of America trying to intervene is as a result of, I'm sure that people would have reached out to them, they would have observed. And if you look at it, the issue of genocide
Yes.
in Nigeria
Yes.
has been happening over a decade, even if not more than that. It's just that now that...
Is it Christian genocide or religious genocide generally?
No, well, if you look at it,
Yes.
in certain perspective, it's Christian genocide.
Yes.
Because if you look at what is happening in Benue,
Yes.
look at what is happening in Kano, Kaduna. Over time, Kwara.
Yes.
There was a time that churches were being burned down on a daily. Now, if you look at, we need data and statistics.
Yes.
And that's what I would have expected the Nigerian government to do. When this has happened, they should come out with data and say, look at it. This X number of mosques were burned down, X number of churches. But we don't have data. But the truth of it is in the public opinion. What we have been seeing, you and I, or of course, every reasonable thinking Nigeria will know that more churches, more Christians have been killed. And that is...
But some would disagree with you because if you check where this happens, actually, it happens core northern states. And you have more Muslims there than even you have Christians. by record that was touted by the congressman in the United States of America. He said that 160,000 people are being killed, that 100,000 are Christians, 60,000 are Muslims, are being killed, and that the war, but we are Nigerians. So it's not in the place of America to tell us what's going on in Nigeria. We're here. I've never been to any northern states. I've only been to Abuja. But as a journalist for decades, it is my duty to keep my ears down and hear what is happening. Listen, Boko Haram's, of course, as the name implies, Boko Haram, meaning that foreign education is a ram. It is a taboo. Their evangelism, their push isn't even against Christian. It's against
Western
theology and those of Islamic faith who have embraced Western education and Westernization of their region. That's what it is about. Yes. So that then therefore establishes the fact that the attack has been both on Christians and as well as Muslims.
I agree with you. That's a brilliant angle to look at it from. And like I said, most times when you are talking about the United States, yes. I think when Goodluck Jonathan was the president,
yes.
we reached out to the United States to say, we are battling insurgency, we are battling Boko Haram. We need you to make available to us equipment. And they refused.
They refused back then because somebody said that any attack during Jonathan's time, any attack on Muslims is an attack on the North. Somebody said that. In fact, this saying is accredited to the immediate past president of Nigeria, late President Muhammadu Buhari, who said that any attack on Muslim is an attack on the North. So, and America believes that because they couldn't trust what we're going to do with these things, because it might be politically motivated attacks. That's why they didn't sell. And of course, you remember that Donald Trump himself, when the first Donald Trump 1.0 made us CPC, put Nigeria in CPC, that we are a country of certain concern.
Yes.
Biden came and said no, that Nigeria isn't. So for me, I think it's just that when the other people kill, they don't say we kill in the name of Jesus. The other people kill, they say Allah Akbar. That's what they do. So that's why we can easily say and identify that it's a Christian genocide. But I think in the real sense, it's poverty genocide. Don't you think so?
Well, you see, it is like human lives.
Yes.
My reaction to it has always been that human lives sacrosanct.
Yes.
Whether you're a Christian, Muslim, a traditionalist,
yes.
The Constitution protects you. Chapter 4 of the Constitution says that Nigerians have a right to life. You have a right to conscience,
yes.
your thoughts. You have a right to religion. So that means that everybody must be protected. And there's a school of thought which I'm most likely leaning towards,
yes.
that they tend to play politics with life. That's even America coming in. People have said, they are trying to come at our resources. People are saying, so what is most important, and what I feel that we should do at this point is, how do we resolve these problems? What exactly, the issue in Borno, Benue State,
yes.
has been going on for years. It was
yes.
land agitation. People should sit down and say, what exactly is going on? We have been talking about cattle grazing. We need to, we need to keep moving with time and mechanize these actions and know how Nigeria can be a better place for it, as opposed to letting people die because somebody killed a cow or somebody feels offended that his cow was attacked.
So you think that as a nation we should jettison open grazing? Do you think we should jettison that?
If it warrants into the loss of life insecurity, then by all means we should do that, because what is most important is the sanctity of lives.
But grazing is an open business. Igbo man can do business anywhere in Nigeria.
Yes.
So the Hausa man should also do the grazing business anywhere in Nigeria.
Nobody is against open grazing. But
Yeah.
you should not. Where your rights stops is where another person starts. What we have seen in recent times is cows roaming on the streets, cows entering into other people's farmlands.
Yeah.
That means that by that action, you are already infringing, encroaching, trespassing on another person's property? Who bears the loss?
But we know why the cows move, because the grasses here is healthier down the south. And the grasses you have up north are not as healthy.
Then we can do ranching.
And half of the beef that we consume come from the north. We consume more beef. I can be sure that you eat more beef than the very mighty allergy up north.
Then we can do ranching.
Yes.
Ranching is a style that can work. We can also confine them to certain areas.
Yes.
They grow their grass, and we have a vast land.
Yes.
Like you said, in the southwest, there's a vast land. They need to be curtailed. They need to be confined. These things are things that if we sit down and think logically, we can provide solutions, as opposed to having cows roaming on the street, cows parading on the highway. For me, I think
there was a day I was driving on Moritola Mohammed Way in Yaba, and we stopped for 2 minutes because about 5 cows were taking a stroll. And they were on the major road. And we just have to stop and allow them pass.
So you can imagine, what if you were on top speed or it was late in the night? It could have resulted in accident or something, and in an accident and loss of lives. So we need to, yes, these challenges come up. We must always have an holistic approach to it.
Do you think we are putting the right approach into this? Insecurity. Before now, we dealt with kidnapping. In Niger Delta, we had agitations because of the oil blocks and what have you, and underdevelopment down in that region. Of course, you can't drill oil in Port Harcourt, in Bayelsa, and in Akwa Ibom, but you now have big estates and big investment down in Lagos, Abuja, whilst Yanagwa is sitting down without a major highway. Those agitations were there. And the federal government gave amnesty to those agitators, and they became part of the society. The same was tried on, the people like Sheikh Gumi came out to say, come on, the same attention you pay to the militants, also pay the same attention to bandits. What do you have to say?
Well, for me,
Yes.
I learned in this instance, I also align with the position of the United States.
Yeah.
They don't negotiate with terrorists. The moment you do that, it gives them some form of leverage. They want to continue to do it. And when you create a system where people see that crime pays,
But Sheikh Gumi is saying that the Niger Delta militants were attacking the economic nerves of the nation, that the bandits are just kidnapping children for ransom. They will use that money to feed, because the federal government the bandits are not captured in the budget of Nigeria.
That's an unfortunate statement, and
Is it because it's from Sheikh Gumi?
It's laughable because these are bandits. Everybody knows this is information that is in public domain.
Yes,
they kidnap, they kill, they burn down. Arson, so a lot of crime has been committed. Are we saying that we should excuse crime? That means that the same argument is given. The youth can actually say we need to be involved in Yahoo because the government is not providing for us, because I've sat at home for 7 years, I couldn't get admission. I think that I should do crime. What stops me from using my laptop to commit crime? There is always an excuse for failure. We don't negotiate with terrorists. What happens to people who have lost their lives? They say, because they were hungry, so that's why you need to kidnap somebody. People can no longer travel from here to Kogi State to Abuja freely. You need to read Psalm 35. You need to fast for 7 days just because you want to move from one state to another.
But is that they are making? If you check the level of development up north, it's not the same thing. Many are saying that the northern elites, that they have failed their people. Look at their marjories. That when Jonathan tried to do something with their marjories, sending them to better school, giving them a better life, a better tomorrow, some people came up to say that Jonathan shouldn't go that way. And that time, some analysts did say that this is a ticking bomb that one day is going to explode. Do you think we've gotten to that place where the developmental deficit in the north has resulted to banditry and kidnapping? To be very fair, kidnapping wasn't really happening up north. It wasn't happening there because they didn't even know. Sheikh Gumi again is saying that they thought they learned that from Niger Delta. And unfortunately, I'm from Niger Delta as well.
Well, the truth is,
yes,
the north, you see that there's a lot of deficit. But now they should not put that challenge on the masses or their fellow indigens.
Yeah.
This is to be targeted at the elites and the government. They should hold their leaders accountable. Because, the Nigerian people are not even asking for too much. We're asking for electricity, we're asking for water, we're asking for shelter, we're asking for food. These are basic amenities that will be gotten in saner climes. And there's a lot of money in the system, at least by federal allocation. If the money is put into proper use, there will be development in the north. And that should be the agitations of these bandits. Ensure that your leaders deliver on their objectives, on their goals. Ensure, put pressure on them to deliver. The local government chairman, the state governors.
You don't even go to local government chairman. Did you see that video? A video came out that local government chairman had a meeting with bandits. And then they pledged that they're going to work with the bandits to give them protection, whilst they will pay some form of money to, I think in the state of Katsina, local government chairman came together, brought in bandits, negotiated with them. Protect us, I will give you. Don't attack us. We will pay you some money. What's your reaction?
That's a state of anarchy.
And these are non-state actors.
Yeah, exactly. That's a state of anarchy. That means that anybody who is forward-thinking, who wants the best for themselves, will join the bandits. Because it's like a form of employment. The government is paying you to protect them. Why not join them?
What if they come out and say that kidnapping is one part of Yahoo since they don't have laptop?
And the government has given legitimacy to them by saying that they want them to protect. This at times you look at how we do
but
things
what do you want them to do? What do you want a local government chairman to do? A local government chairman, you are the chief security officer of the local government council. Although they say that when there are security issues, but with money they say that they agree that they are. The point is, I have to protect my people. If the army, the police, the state actors cannot deliver the kind of security I need for my people, won't I seek other non-kinetic ways? That's what we use now, non-kinetic ways to ensure that I have my people secure.
Well, they chose the easy way out, because ordinarily, when things like that happen,
yes,
longer approach, put a lot of pressure on the state government and the federal government to ensure that the lives of people are protected.
Yeah.
It's a local community.
Yes.
You can also set up a local vigilante system.
That has failed.
That
has failed.
Not in most some instances.
So some are even saying that the vigilantes are also part of the bandits because they see that banditry pays.
Yes, so that's why we need to, if we keep encouraging banditry, it will get worse. They started from one settlement, later they've started moving to local government. There was a time, I think it was during the tenure of Goodluck Jonathan. Borno State was completely overridden. About 4 or 5 local governments. At times you just wonder, you're alarmed. Ordinarily, this was when you would have expected that the United States or other countries that have the goodwill of Nigeria in mind would have intervened. We have had it much more worse, and I think that it's high time that we all resist this, because it's going to blow up. It will not be a situation wherein we have the bandits against the general masses, and of course, people will not wait for people to just come into their home and kill them. People will now begin to harm themselves in preparation to defend their homes.
There are regional political narrative making the rounds in the country, depending on where you are. Those from the Southwest thinks that American intervention means they want to come and topple the government of the South, someone from the Southwest. And someone from the North would think that, come on, America is coming and they are coming to fight against Islam, a religion that is prominent there. And people from the South believe that America is coming to give them independence. America is coming to support Biafra. And whilst someone from Niger Delta, where I come from, they're saying that America, they're coming for resources. And this is a kind of narrative that we should be having as a nation right now.
Well, there's a lot of distrust in Nigeria. And, it's because of the way the system
By the people?
Yes.
You mean?
Yes, by the people. People don't trust themselves. And, you have seen instances where people even get into power and begin to use it to the advantage of their people. So it's understandable when people have this level of fear and distrust, but we need to move forward. That's why, the United States needs to partner with the government in power.
Yeah.
to say that we are going to support you, but whatever support we are giving to you must to ensure that the power or whatever you are deploying is for the betterment of the Nigerian nation, not to be politicized, not to be used unfairly against other persons. And that's how we can get it right.
This also made it to the news within the week, was that NYC, they are posting, a gentleman was posted to KB, and he made a video that, why are you sending me to KB? Why didn't you send me to Dubai? Send me to other places. Is it KB that people are dying? You want to send me to KB? Do you think that we should, and also following that was that schools, unity schools, colleges across the country, about 41 of them, if not 44, is alleged to have been closed up by Ministry of Education, but the federal government came out to say that there's nothing like that. So should we stop all of this nationalistic thing, the posting of NYSC members to different states of the federation to grow federal character, and then the unity schools? What's your reaction?
Well, there's nothing bad about growing our nationalistic ideas to ensure that, for most people, they never traveled out of their comfort zone or out of their state of origin until NYSC. It's a laudable project, but it is irresponsible of the NYSC to post people to trouble-prone areas. Because why would you send someone? It's like you're sending the person to death, and ordinarily it's irresponsible. What I feel that the NYSC could do or perform better on is when there are pockets of violence, areas of concern in certain states, they could pend
such postings,
such postings to those areas till the level of unrest and insecurity in that area is resolved. That's my take.
So what would you say to that America coming and the rhetoric coming from White House, that they are politically motivated, knowing that 2026 is almost here and 2027 is a general election? Is this the right time for America to have, promoted the kind of rhetoric that Donald Trump has been using so far about Nigeria?
Well, if you look at it objectively from the angle of the United States,
yes,
they are coming in because they feel that the level of unrest and genocide is at an alarming rate. Now, one thing, during my research, I discovered that, most of the times we look at it from Nigeria as, it's political. But you will discover that, we have the Japa syndrome now. A lot of people who are traveling to Canada, the US, when they claim asylum, whatever papers they are filing, they state in those papers that they are escaping genocide, they are escaping banditry. And the average white man will work with data.
But how can someone from Akwa Ibom, someone from Enugu talk about as you're escaping banditry and Boko Haram when these things are not very serious down there?
Yes, because they want to travel, because they want to get papers. And that is what will be in the record. By the time they look at their data, they do their data analyst looks at the data that they have. What they are saying is, we have 100 applications. 95 of them are saying that they are fleeing banditry, kidnapping. So this forms some kind of background information for the governments overseas. And of course, you go on TikTok, you see people talking about all these things in an effort to get them out of the country. So those are the things that, the other people out there are looking at Nigeria and say, this place is unsafe. You can't.
So is it a good time to censor the social media?
It's not necessarily the social media, but we need to have some form of national reorientation where people understand.
And who is going to do this reorientation?
Ordinarily, it's supposed to be the government, the media.
A government that people don't trust.
The government.
It's not about this government, however, but it's about this for decades. Nigerians have lost faith.
Yes, Nigerians have lost faith in the government. Honestly, we need to. It's our government. For those of us who don't have anywhere to go.
You think people like Fola, my producer, she has a way she can go to?
Well, she might be talking to people who want to get out of the country, and You never can tell, because these days you wake up
We
one
die
day and
here.
you see someone
In this country. This is the only country we have. We die here. We must. We can. I love this country.
Exactly.
This, I love
the
Nigeria.
spirit.
I love Nigeria so much because, like, listen, if I have headache, I don't have paracetamol, I can go to my neighbor. I was here in the studio. I needed to drink out there. I needed sugar. And then my colleague gave me. Do you understand?
Yes.
But you can't try that outside this country. You go to Canada, they will call police on you.
So you have to buy, or
you see that you buy or you die. Yes, you see that you buy or you die. What is the way forward for us as a nation? Because elections coming up, people are not turning out to go get their PVCs, and you see, you conduct election. Look at the Anambra, just to conclude election in Anambra, less than 50% came out to vote. For a state where over about 2.8 million people picked up their PVC, they just use it for ID card and for bank clearance. They don't even go to go and vote.
I think that what Nigeria needs now is our leaders need to put the people first, regardless of how you get into, regardless of what office you want to occupy. Ensure that what you're doing is to protect the Nigerian.
Yes.
Ensure that when you get into power, you are going there to give your best and not just to steal money. Because that's why we have been dancing around in circles. Everybody's trying. Let me just make my.
But your friends, the politicians, that made governments to be very juicy. Everybody wants to be a politician. Everybody wants to be a commissioner. Everybody wants to be a special assistant. Everyone wants to be a special advisor. People want to be governor.
Yes, that's
because
why we need to
commercialize your friends.
No, not my friends.
But they are your friends.
Why do you say that they are your friends?
No, they are your friends because you are part of the elite.
No, I'm not. Are
you now denying your capacity?
No, I'm not an elite. I'm here. Like you said, I'm an analyst, and it is my duty to give objective analysis. And when the government is not doing well, we need to speak to.
But that doesn't change the fact that they are your friends.
I know. I don't like being friends with them because taking public office these days is even a lot of pressure.
True.
I was looking at Mr. the tax guy. He was doing well in the private sector.
Yes.
He came in
until he became a tax collector.
Oh my God. So there are times I just don't even want that offer. When I say, please, for now, let me just consult with God and family. But that's the end of it because I don't want to take that kind of pressure. It's quite crazy. We need to build a system where people can trust the government. And the truth of it is that the people in power, they'll be friends with you before they get into office. Yes. They pick your calls that the one's calling you, asking you for beer. Suddenly they become unreachable.
But part of the sector, part of the branch of government that has helped to fuel the dislike for government happens to be the judiciary. How can there be a redemption? Because the judiciary happens to be the hope of the very last hope of the common man.
Well, and
INEC. These are serious state apparatus that people cannot stand. The judiciary and the INEC.
Yes. For INEC,
yes,
INEC must continue to do about 150% because the level of distrust for INEC is way, and it's not misplaced as a result of things.
So you think that with the appointment of Professor George Omopito, that there is there a glimmer of hope? We're looking at this person, and he plays in your sector very well. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria.
Yeah, so I believe that as a senior advocate of Nigeria, he has distinguished himself in that profession, and he belongs to the elitist class.
Yes.
So ordinarily, he has all the cards to deliver because he's not there for power, he's not there for money. I just hope and appeal to his conscience that he's there to do right by Nigerians and ensure that no level of intimidation, corruption, enticement will make him do what will not please Nigerians. All we need is a level playing ground.
Now, you've not answered me. You left out the judiciary and you picked up.
Okay, yes. Okay, for judiciary. Yes. For the judiciary.
Yes.
What our agitations over the years has been that the judiciary must be independent, void of any form of pressure from the other arms of government. In terms of funding, that has been the agitation. The judiciary should be able to fund itself. Because the moment he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So we are saying that they should not.
You see, Abuja, we are seeing the FCT minister commissioning judges' quarters, buying vehicles. We see governors this day. One of the first things that the Edo State governor did was to pay attention to the judiciary.
So those are the issues. We
Yes.
need to ensure that he who pays the.
But you guys are not resisting it. You guys are enjoying it.
Enjoy it. That's the judiciary.
Yes.
So I'm not on the bench.
Oh, you're not on the bench.
And that's how I
Yes.
say, because
Yes.
if the bench is corrupt, it affects how I apply my trade.
Yes, yeah.
That means that I won't be able to get justice for my clients or for the public.
Yeah.
So that means that you see that over time, and I know Senior Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, over the years, have been agitating that the judiciary must be independent. No form of pressure on them. Governors buying vehicles, SUVs for them. How would you look up to the governor and say, no, what you have done is wrong?
A branch of government or an arm of government was talking about independence, financial autonomy, and it was granted. And they went back and said, no, we're okay with being under the control of governors. That's the local government.
Yeah, you can,
So the judiciary is also talking about financial autonomy for the judiciary. Would they go back and say that we're okay with, being in bed with the government? Because local government did the same thing, that they are fine with the governors.
I think that the judiciary would be able to do fine on its own. Because it's, yes, state funding can come, but not directly.
Yeah.
Like, the example you gave of the FCT minister and governors buying vehicle for the judiciary. There should be, it's a system. Yeah. There should be a system in place. If you are going to donate vehicles to the judiciary, it should not be coming from you directly. It should go to the commission. It should go to whatever system that has been put in place to administer.
We need to wrap up before we go. I need you to touch on governors. Governors, they have become demigods. And kudos to the president who has given them more money. The governors now swim in cash. You see governors with PJs. But if one of them has a party, you see other governors flying with PJs. These are people we used to see. I remember traveling, I'm inside the plane, I'll see a governor in first class. But these days, you see governors, all of them with PJs. How can we hold these people responsible, tax them to deliver, to be accountable to the people? And people vote them into office. They are there for the people. And this, would you think removing subsidy and giving the surplus to governors, whom you and I and every Nigerian watching us now would agree with us that governors have misused all the resources given to them, some of them.
Yes, and well, for Nigerians, we need to hold our leaders accountable. And, aside from speaking out, we should take steps. Many people, there are times, where my office is, I saw that the road was bad and I wrote to the local government to say that, why have you not fixed this road? People will say, oh, your own is too much. Why are you doing this? But if we don't hold these people accountable, the money money has been allocated for fixing of the road. Yeah. PSP doesn't come to pack the debris. It's there for 2-3 weeks and they're still asking you to pay for work not done. We should challenge the institutions. By the time we keep quiet, silence means consent.
True.
We need to keep speaking, regardless of how, because the way the system is, it is now becoming very difficult to challenge the system because they are putting a lot of clog in your way before you get to court, before who you write to. But we won't keep quiet, and the media also needs to play a major role.
A media that they have put the Freedom of Information Bill and then so many other things that could put chokehold on the media. We can't even say. There are times we speak on radio or on TV. Before we go, we have to check and make sure that some guys on suits are not there. Are not there waiting to take us away from the lovely hands of our family.
The freedom, of course, the Freedom of Information Act, but also we have the freedom of expression.
Yes.
And at every point in time, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is superior. We will keep speaking. We will keep saying the right things. We will keep putting pressure on the government to deliver. Because that's the way to go. Keeping quiet is not the way to go.
I
We
agree.
need to keep
I completely
putting
agree
them on
with
their
you.
toes.
I completely agree with you. Thank you so much for taking our time to be here
Thank you
again.
for having
And we're also always excited anytime you're stopping by. We hope to see you again. We hope to see you again sometime in the nearest future. Well, that is the size of a package. That's the size of a package. This today will come your way again, same time, God willing. I remain Victor Ita, and I am done, and I am gone. See you next week, God willing. Bye-bye.